Jayna's reaction to Ginny's luxury car gift, the internet can't stop crying. From the very first second the video surfaced online, one question rose above all the others, echoing across social media platforms, lighting up comment sections around the world, and leaving millions breathless as they replayed the moment over and over again. What level of love, devotion, and unspoken understanding must exist between two people for a surprise to feel so intimate, so vulnerable, and so emotionally overwhelming that even strangers watching from thousands of miles away felt tears gather in their eyes? That question intensified the moment Jayna stepped out of her building, unaware of what was waiting for her, unaware that the next few minutes would become one of the most unforgettable, heart-melting, internet-shattering moments in the history of celebrity relationships. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update in the world of your favorite celebrities. The video begins quietly, almost deceptively so, with Ginny standing beside a gleaming luxury car that reflected the dawn's first light like liquid gold, its polished surface untouched, its interior still wrapped in protective coverings, its presence radiating a gravity that could only mean something deeply personal. Ginny wasn't smiling for the cameras, she was pacing gently, clutching a small envelope between her fingers, her breath visible in the cool morning air, her eyes darting toward the building entrance every few seconds. She wasn't nervous in the way a performer might be, but in the way someone becomes when preparing to reveal a part of themselves, when hoping that a gesture meant from the heart would reach the heart of the person it was intended for. When Jayna finally appeared, still fastening her jacket, her hair tied loosely, her expression calm yet unaware, Ginny froze for a heartbeat, her breath catching just slightly as though the entire world had narrowed to this one moment, this one person, this one truth she was about to give shape to. Jayna noticed immediately that something was different, that Ginny was standing too still, holding something behind her back, her face illuminated by a quiet anticipation that Jayna rarely saw outside the privacy of their home. She approached slowly, her eyes narrowing in curious confusion, and that was the exact second the camera zoomed in, not for drama, not for exaggeration, but because the raw emotion on both their faces demanded to be captured. Ginny stepped aside and with a soft, trembling exhale, revealed the car. There was no dramatic music, no manufactured scream, no forced theatrics. Instead, Jayna's reaction unfolded in real time, in a long, breathless silence that felt heavier and more powerful than any spoken word. Her eyes widened slowly, her breath faltered, her lips parted just slightly as though trying to form a question, a denial, a thank you, all at once. The shock didn't come from the luxury of the car itself, but from the sincerity behind the gesture, the realization that someone had thought so deeply, so personally, so intentionally about her needs, her dreams, her unspoken desires. Ginny didn't rush to explain. She didn't overwhelm the moment with words. Instead, she handed Jayna the envelope, a simple handwritten note inside, and waited. Jayna opened it with trembling fingers, her eyes scanning the page, and as she read the message, whatever tender, private words Ginny had chosen to express, her face slowly crumpled. Not dramatically, not uncontrollably, but with the soft, devastating vulnerability of someone finally realizing that they are loved in a way that transcends material gifts, a way that sees them, supports them, lifts them, cherishes them. She covered her mouth with both hands, her shoulders trembling, the first tears spilling down her cheeks in silent waves. Ginny stepped toward her then, not to take credit for the gift, but to hold her, to steady her, to anchor her through the overwhelming flood of emotion. Jayna collapsed into her arms, not in weakness, but in relief, in gratitude, in the overwhelming knowledge that she had found someone who understood her heart with such precision that even a moment as extravagant as this felt deeply personal rather than performative. When they embraced, the kind of long, grounding embrace that speaks of years of shared history, challenges, victories, fears, and unwavering loyalty, the internet collectively lost its composure. Viewers commented that they had never seen anything so pure, that the sincerity between them was palpable even through a phone screen, that Ginny's gentle smile as she held Jayna, and Jayna's uncontrollable tears buried against her shoulder, felt like witnessing a love story unfold in its most authentic form. The video continued as the two finally approached the car together. Jayna ran her fingers over the polished exterior, still crying softly, still unable to process the magnitude of the surprise. Ginny opened the door for her, revealing the custom interior design specifically with Jayna's preferences in mind, her favorite neutral palette, her preferred seat adjustment, subtle lighting accents that reminded her of home, and a personalized engraving hidden discreetly on the dashboard. It was not a gift of luxury. It was a gift of thoughtfulness. As Jayna sat inside for the first time, her tears fell faster, her hands trembling as she traced the small engraving. Ginny leaned down beside her, whispering something that the cameras did not pick up, a private reassurance meant only for Jayna's ears. Whatever she said made Jayna nod slowly, her expression softening into something indescribably tender, something that spoke of trust, of connection, of a bond that went far beyond public perception. By the time the video ended, the internet had already declared the moment one of the most emotional celebrity clips of the year. Fans created compilations, slowed the footage, analyzed their body language, replayed the moment Jayna broke down, and praised Ginny for setting a new standard of authenticity in a world often dominated by superficial gestures. Comment sections filled with messages from viewers who admitted they cried, who wished for a love so thoughtful, who felt that witnessing the moment reminded them that kindness and devotion still existed in real, tangible ways. And as the video spread across social platforms, one truth became impossible to deny: this was not just a gift. It was a love story told in the language of sincerity, generosity, and emotional depth, a story that reminded millions why Ginny and Jayna continue to inspire people everywhere. What happened after Jayna broke down beside the gleaming luxury car became the moment that turned a simple gift into a cultural phenomenon, because while the surprise itself was stunning, it was everything that unfolded in the minutes after the cameras stopped rolling that revealed the true depth of emotion between the two actresses, a depth that neither interviews nor press statements had ever fully captured. The world had already seen the viral clip of Jayna covering her mouth with trembling hands as tears spilled down her cheeks, but what the public had not witnessed, what truly changed the atmosphere and sent the internet spiraling into a storm of emotional commentary, happened in the quiet space between the flash of cameras, where sincerity could breathe without the weight of performance. As Jayna stood halfway between shock and disbelief, her vision blurred by tears, Ginny stepped closer, her voice low and steady, guiding Jayna to lean against her while murmuring reassurance with the kind of tenderness that comes only from a long, complex history of shared victories, hardships, and unspoken loyalties. In that moment, the luxury car behind them ceased to be a symbol of extravagance. Instead, it became the backdrop to a raw, intimate exchange where walls dissolved and truth emerged. Jayna's voice cracked as she whispered that she did not feel deserving, that she never imagined anyone would go to such lengths for her, especially not someone who had witnessed her darkest moments, her failures, her insecurities, and the battles she fought privately while maintaining a smile for the world. Ginny held her without hesitation, her arms firm, her cheek pressing lightly against Jayna's temple in a gesture of silent understanding, a gesture that spoke of years spent building a bond that had often been misunderstood, exaggerated, or simplified by the public. She reminded Jayna of the nights they had stayed up until dawn rehearsing lines, comforting each other through heartbreaks, celebrating each tiny success, and pushing through the pressure of an industry that sometimes forgets its stars are human. The gift, Ginny explained softly, was not about wealth or publicity, but about gratitude, about honoring the person who had stood by her through storms she could never have weathered alone. Jayna's tears deepened as she listened, her breath catching in unsteady waves while she clung to Ginny's sleeves, her voice trembling as she asked why Ginny would choose such a grand, overwhelming gesture when so many smaller expressions of love would have sufficed. The answer that followed stunned even the staff nearby, who stood frozen, unsure whether to give the actresses more privacy or to remain ready in case they were needed. Ginny confessed that she had spent months planning the surprise, not because she wanted a viral moment or media recognition, but because she wanted Jayna to feel seen, valued, and cherished in a world that often celebrates careers while neglecting emotional sacrifices. She wanted Jayna to know, without any doubt, that her presence had shaped Ginny's life in ways that no award or script could capture. As the truth sank in, Jayna's legs weakened slightly, and Ginny guided her to sit inside the car, not to show off the luxurious interior, but to give her a safe place to breathe and process the rush of feelings that had overwhelmed her. Inside the quiet, plush cabin, away from the spectators lingering beyond the security cordon, Jayna finally allowed herself to break open fully, her tears flowing freely as she confessed the fears she had hidden for months, the fear that she was drifting away from Ginny due to conflicting schedules, the fear that their bond would fade under the pressure of fame, and the heartbreaking thought that she had become replaceable as Ginny's world expanded. She admitted that even though she celebrated Ginny's success, part of her wondered whether she would eventually be left behind, forgotten in the wake of Ginny's rising career.